Hi everyone, Great Power 60 here. Welcome to Tea with Me Tuesday. I've got it almost all drunk. And it's gotten cold. I had already videotaped one video and I didn't like it. So I am here again. No, I didn't cut my hair. I just put it up because it was driving me crazy, as usual. So I didn't have anything planned for today. I just thought I would come up with some ideas, and I came up blank. I actually came up with a couple of things, but I didn't know. One of the things, in my little book here, I have, I put my ideas in here, like my story, all about me. It's not really interesting. So, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll do the all about me. I'm not much on, actually it's not true, I'm a chatter. I can chat about everything and anything. So Mom and I have been really busy this week. We have, oh, this is not a good angle, is it? Mom and I had a really good week this week. We have been so busy. I have spent way too much money on things, going to Michael's, going to Dollar Tree, going to Dollarama. We've just been so busy. We finally got 3 wonderful, absolutely gorgeous days with the sun and the warmth, and it's just been great. It was a little bit warm today, but that's okay. Don't mind. I am dying to get my gnome garden out on the balcony, but because they are working on our building, refinishing, no, whatever, the brickwork. They're doing brickwork. And all last week, they've been, doing brickwork, and we're not allowed to go in the balcony because chips and pieces would fall. I showed a small video of what the junk is like. Thank gosh they were away for the weekend, so we had a couple of days we could sit outside. But I'm just dying to get all this stuff out of the living room and out onto the balcony. And I don't know how much longer they're going to be out there, maybe another week. And that's just kind of spoiling my summer. Really spoiling my summer. That's not nice. So Mom and I have been shopping. We've been watching the kids play soccer. We have been running around here and running around there. We have just exhausted ourselves. So exhausted that by Saturday, I fell asleep. We were supposed to go out, and I fell asleep around 4:30, I think, and I slept till like 10:15. By that time, Mom was in bed, and poor Mom, she didn't know how to turn off the TV. She didn't know what to do. She didn't, so she unplugged the internet and everything, like on the TV, like unplugged it all. And so I wake up, I get up, I made myself a cup of tea. Mom was in bed. I made myself something to eat and sat down to watch some videos on my tablet in my room, and no internet service. So I rebooted it. Rebooted it thinking, still no internet. Excuse me. So I came in here, checked the TV, turned it on, nothing. Then I went and looked at my tower that has everything. She unplugged it. So I had to plug it in, reboot it. It took about 20 minutes. And I thought, poor mom, she just doesn't know what to do when I'm not around. Oh, and I'm totally exhausted. So we have been very busy around doing things. We've done laundry, cleaning the house, washed the bathroom up and down and all of that stuff, and trying to get my craft stuff in some sort of order, but I keep buying stuff. I keep checking on things. I've just been a busy girl. So I haven't really had time to sort of sit down and think about what we could talk about today. And I thought of a couple of things. And now I hope I have to take a sip of this. It's got ice in it. I may have to go get a lozenge again. So I was thinking about a couple of things, and one of the things I was thinking about my pet peeves. There are some things that just, they just irk you. I mean, and you just wonder where is somebody's brain? Why are they so stupid? Why are they acting this way? One thing I want to know, and I really want to know, we're driving, we go to a stoplight, we're waiting at the stoplight. The car beside me, I don't realize it until after, but the car beside me turns his car off. It's a long light. And then when the light changes, he turns his car on, and then he goes. Why? I don't understand. Do people not realize that idling your car uses less gas than turning it off and turning it on? Because when you turn it off, the gas kind of goes back down into your tank. When you turn your car on, it surges. So it may be only like a pint, I don't know, a half a cup, whatever, of gas. But you waste more gas turning your car on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. And it's not just that one guy, it's lots of people. Like, I don't understand. Somebody tell me in the comments below, why do people do that? Why do you turn your car off and then turn it back on to go? It's beyond my logic. It's beyond my logic. And these are regular cars. They're not electric cars, they're regular cars, right? So that was one pet peeve of mine. The other pet peeve of mine is people who tailgate when you're driving. They're sitting on your bumper, Well, my solution is I slow down. I tap my brake so that the brake light will come on, and it'll annoy the heck out of them, but you're going to get off my butt. Stop it. Because I drive the speed limit, sometimes a little fast. Most of the time I am pretty much on speed limit. And we've got people, and they're not just boys, they're girls too. Zoom, 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 like, of course I'm retired, I'm not in a hurry. I'm an old lady. They look at me and they say, it's an old lady driving, no wonder. It's a woman and she's old, whatever. But I'm a pretty good driver. So that's another peeve of mine. That I had a list of peeves, and I wish I had it with me, because we could be chatting about this for a while. But anyway, we'll get into something else. The other thing I want to know from you guys, when you were a little girl or a little boy, did you have a dream? You had a dream that this is what you wanted to do with your life. This is what you wanted to be. This is who you wanted to be. How many people actually had their dream come true? How many people? How many people went after that dream, that passion that they wanted? I often wonder about things like that. When I was young, when I was a little girl, I always played school. I used to have, Mom got me a blackboard. I had colored chalk, and I had all my dolls lined up in my yard, and I would teach. And that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to either be a nun or a teacher. I never thought that I was going to be a wife and mother. That just never, I think it was just sort of matter of fact, yeah, but I wanted to be a teacher, and I got my opportunity. I had been taking classes at work because we had to do a lot of presentations, and because we had to do a lot of demonstrations and one-on-one teachings of some work. We had different courses to take, leadership courses, how to deal with difficult people, how to speak, how to present, how to prepare for presenting things, etc., etc. And I remember my very first, at work, I was terrified of public speaking as a child. In school, terrified. I was 12. We were in a play, and I had 3 lines. 2 of them were 1 word each, and the other was 3 words. So I had like a yes, or goodbye, or please come in. Something like that. I don't know, whatever. My heart, I just, whatever. I never liked to be center of attention. I never liked it. I never liked any of that. So how was I going to be a teacher? So when I looked into going to college and everything to be a teacher, cost, I couldn't afford it. Then I got married and we went to Germany, and that was it. So after my divorce, and I was working for the government, and I was taking all of these courses and leadership courses and dealing with difficult people and all of this thing, how to prepare for presentations and so on. Before I took all of those courses, I had to create at the time we were using PowerPoint, I had to create a presentation for one of our clients, and he could not do the presentation, and he asked me to do it for him. So I presented his presentation to him and to his coworker or secretary or somebody, whatever. So I presented his presentation to him, and he said to me, "Oh my God, you are so good at this. You should be doing all the presentations for our department." I said, no. But I knew the material. I created the material. I knew all the words. I knew what had to be presented. I knew what had to be, so I was prepared. So that was sort of my first step into coming out of my shyness and coming, loving the fact of sharing information. Really, really got me excited. So then I started taking these mini courses. And then my opportunity came along. I had gone to Algonquin College, which is a college here in town, and I had taken some courses, and I had, they were looking for part-time evening teachers to teach part-time. So I put my resume in, because at the time, my knowledge of software was quite not intense. I can't even think of the word. But anyway, my knowledge was great of software and how it interacted with other external things like printers, faxing. I mean, this was before internet. This was long before internet. This was in Corel Draw's first, stages and stuff like that, and PowerPoint and presentations and all of that kind of thing. And they hired me. And I worked every Thursday, except summertime, 2 semesters a year for 6 years. I taught a course all about software. And one teacher was away one time, and she was teaching a WordPerfect. Word? I forget. Anyway, she was teaching that class and she couldn't do it. And when you're teaching at night, the classes are a mix of people. Those who barely know how to touch a computer to those who know to program a computer. So you have to kind of get your class in to be interested in what you're talking about at their level. So if you're talking to people who barely know what a computer is, to people who know the insides and outs, and they're just learning this one particular software, how do you teach? It's amazing. Well, what happened is that I took a survey for that class, and I wrote down, my first night was getting to know them, and then I realized the vast differences. So I had to take one class, and at home I wrote out a paper, and I wanted to know, what is your experience with this, with this, with this, with this? Each person had 10 questions to answer, or 7 questions that I asked. And then, so then they handed that in, and I did kind of an overview of the course and an overview of what we were doing that night, and expectations of what was needed in order to pass the course. And the following week, after I'd read them all, I grouped them. I put them in groups. And that way it was easier for me to teach 3 groups, those novices, middle of the road, and the experts. I really had to divide the class. And that wasn't normally done in the classes. We had, a set guideline on what we had to teach, and that was it, So after a couple of talks with my, I've forgotten what they're called, my professor's leader, my team leader, whatever. It's been too many years, I've forgotten what they're named, like what their relationship, their name. I went and talked to them, and I said, look, this is the situation. I need to vamp up the course. The course is okay, but every student is going to get an A on the course. So how can I make it challenging? And they gave me carte blanche. They said, you do what you feel you need to do in order to get the best out of your class. So I almost rewrote the whole class. I rewrote it myself for the next semester. I couldn't do it for this semester. I had to follow the syllabus. I had to follow it to a T. And before the next semester, so this was like over Christmas, I rewrote the course. I still followed the same principles. I still followed the same results that we needed to get, but in a more challenging way. In other words, more interactive way, rather than me talking and them listening. It was more of a visual thing. So I wrote it up. I can't remember how many pages it was. 35 pages, I think, for the little handbook. And I gave it to my boss, the professor, the department head of computers. See, it's been too long, I've forgotten. And he approved it. He took it to the board and approved it. And so and that was in my third semester of teaching. So after that, I got to teach with a little more imagination and a little more up to date, because a lot of the information that was given on the original course was like 8-10 years old, and we're talking in the 1990s. So if it's like in the 1980s that this was written, software, computers, and everything have gone a long way. Now from the 1990s, I think my last course that because they discontinued that particular course because technology was changing and everything was changing. They didn't need to teach software. They needed to teach other things. Software was becoming a whole different. But in the early days, people needed to know how to use software, how to use things, and how to print, how to save their files, how to, silly things like this. But anyway, those were the best years. And my first night teaching, I was horrified. I was prepared, but I was horrified because I had remembered, if you are prepared, if you know your subject, you can pretty well, get through it all. And that's one of the things. Be prepared, know your subject. And that's how I got to fulfill my childhood dream, was to be a teacher. And I loved it. I really, really loved it. Later on at work in my department, I was asked to teach a course, and I had to decline. I had to decline it because at the time there were things going on that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. My job required me to be there, my regular day job. So I couldn't leave that regular day job. I worked for Census at Statistics Canada. I worked for Census. And every time we had a census year, we were, before the census day, 1 year, one whole year before, we were busy to the point of overtime, constantly working overtime. Because the government had reduced so much staff, we had to have things done, and it had to be ready on that date. That deadline was that deadline. And it just happened to coincide with our very busy period of time, so I couldn't do that. But that would have been a wonderful opportunity. But I did do that for my regular job. I was very fortunate that as technology got better and better and people became more and more familiar, there were always people coming and asking me to help them set up their system or do whatever. And I enjoyed that. I really, really loved it. So teaching was my dream. Being a nun was a dream. That'll never come true. Can you imagine me being a nun? Not now. Not now. I don't think so. But at least I fulfilled my dream. And I was very fortunate. I had kind of a mini dream or goal when I was younger, was that I wanted to get married, I wanted a fur coat, and I wanted to have my own car. And I got all three in 1 year, my first year of marriage. That was so funny. That was another silly dream. But other than that, I've never had any other passionate dreams to do something. I've kind of wanted to do things, but my passion really was teaching. That was something I was that little girl with being bossy to my dolls and telling them to behave and listen to their teacher. Can you imagine? 6 and 7-year-old. That's what I did. My mom used to love watching. Sometimes she would just laugh. Anyway, guys, that is all I have to share with you. But what was your dream, and did it come true? Did you follow your dream or part of it? Did you get a chance to, to just do what you've always wanted to do? Even if it's only one little thing. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you had an opportunity to do and what you wished you could have done but didn't have the opportunity to do it. I would love it if you would like, share, comment below, ring that bell, hit that notification bell if you'd like to see when I put videos up. I'm supposed to do this spiel. I didn't even know I'm supposed to do it. I figured you guys are around, Hit that bell and you'll be notified when I do another video. Whether it's a crafting video, a haul, a Tea With Me Tuesday. I really appreciate you coming by. I love the support that I'm getting. I love the comments. And please don't be shy to be honest with me, because I'm a big girl and I can take it. And of course, anything that's nasty gets deleted, because I'm too old to deal with nasty. I think at this time in my life, everybody is sweet and everybody is nice, and those that aren't, well, that's it. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.